and that's me being upfront. Because there's no reason to waste your time if I'm not a good match for you. So what they diagnosed was an abscess.
What are you talking about? Not a good match.
In other words, I can't meet your needs, and that's not a good match.
You can't meet my needs.
If I can't meet any needs, if I can't cure your problem, take care of your problem, then I'm not a good match.
So you don't know anything about a woman that has endometrial hyperplasia and had two precancerous masses out of my uterus.
I don't know what else to tell you.
And I tell you, UC Health made a mistake, and I went to Grady. You say where to go.
And I want to see what they found, because we use that word mass for a lot of things. I do not see an ultrasound here.
I didn't say they did an ultrasound at MD Anderson Cancer Center.
You said this talks about your precancerous mass.
I'm not a doctor.
I cannot see it. It did not get addressed. The psychiatric part did.
This is why Heart of the Rockies missed the mass, because what they did was they kept going in. How's she talking about something she never did surgery on? How does she know there was a polyp in there?
Probably with an ultrasound.
But she never did one. So how could she know? What you're saying doesn't make any sense. And then here I am trying to defend my health care to receive health care. I live here in Chaffee County. I deserve health care just like everybody else, regardless. Well, why are you telling me you don't think we're a good match? You've been challenging me since I got here.
I may not be able to make that happen for you.
It's not my fault that I have endometrial hyperplasia, but I don't deserve to be abused.
If I can't meet your needs, then you need to find somebody who can. And that's what you've been doing.
You can't meet my needs because why?
Because I don't know who else to send you to.
You don't know what to do with a woman who had two precancerous masses and that I have endometrial hyperplasia, and you don't know what to do, and you work for Heart of the Rockies, and this is the only place to get medical care, and I live here.
What I usually do is have you see Dr. Rhodes, who's a gynecologist. You've done that. And then if somebody doesn't want to go there, I usually send them to UC Health. You've done that.
And they made a mistake and missed a mass.
Those are the things I can do.
So you're telling me UC Health is the only place you can refer me to? You don't know any other OBGYN oncologist around other than UC Health?
UC Health has an outlet in Colorado Springs, but it's UC Health.
You don't know any other place besides UC Health in all of Denver?
Not for that purpose, no. That's why they sent you there, is because that's the center.
They didn't send me there. I went there.
You went there. Well, that was a good choice. It was a good choice, even though you don't feel it.
So you're saying that there's no other OBGYN oncologist that you from Heart of the Rockies can refer me to?
Yes, I can do like anybody else and just go through the white pages and, well, that one looks good. I don't think you want me to do that. I mean, I like to use people I've worked with, who I trust. You may not trust them, but I may. If you want to look at what's going on in the uterus, we could do another ultrasound. We could do an ultrasound and just see what's there. If you have a little masses, that can be a fibroid. People with endometriosis, they get fibroids. It does change the lining.
I have endometrial hyperplasia.
Right. And so what do you do about that? Well, a lot of times they ablate the uterus.
What is that?
All it is an overgrowth of the endometrial tissue, the lining of the tissue.
And then what happens?
What do you mean what happens?
What happens?
What you do is you keep doing your pap smears. You keep getting regular checkups.
Biopsies.
If you have bleeding in between, what are your periods like?
I haven't been having them for 2 months.
Okay. Did they do an ablation or anything like that? Sometimes with those surgeries for endometrial hyperplasia, they do an ablation inside the uterine lining, and that gets rid of it for many years. That being said, it usually comes back, but that's not God's law either, but sometimes it does. But a lot of times they do an ablation.
So there's nowhere else other than UC Health out of all of Denver that you can find somebody else.
But we got to get the records first, because I'm kind of in the blind here. You're telling me all this history. I can't find it anywhere. So I need to look and see what those masses were that UC Health had. I need to look at what studies they had. I need to get the ones out of Alabama. And you realize we send them the requests But when they get it to us, it's their choice.
And in the meantime, I'm just supposed to suffer and then not be able to work.
What do you do?
And
You said
I
you
own my own
which is
business,
what?
cleaning houses, and then I do day labor work.
Okay.
So I needed, I mean, if this guy, Dr. Herfter, is not working for pain control, then what are my other options? Can we terminate him and
Pain
go?
management. You've been to pain management in Salida in the past.
Okay, but this is not working. What is whatever medicine?
Okay.
If the medicines work, that I don't see what the problem is
Because
to
a
get
lot
me
of times
back
it's
on
not
other
just-
medicine.
No, that's not an option. Medicines a lot of times are just masking something.
So what do people
So
go
what
to
you
a
try to
pain
do-
clinic for?
They usually have a chronic pain, and that's what pain management does. Is that's their expertise.
So that's what you
That's
said I
why-
have is chronic pain, right?
So, right. You're set up with a chronic pain guy. That one in Denver. And you've
He's
been
not
set-
chronic pain.
All right.
He referred me out to somebody
Then
else.
go see that somebody else.
Then what's that somebody else going to do?
I don't know. I'm not magical. I don't have telepathy. I don't know. I don't know.
I didn't say you had telepathy. I asked you, what do they do at those
I don't
pain
know.
clinics?
I don't know who he sent you to, so I don't know.
Okay, what can you do for me?
Nothing. We can do an ultrasound to look inside the uterus. Get your old records. That's it.
Okay, well,
at this
first you
moment-
said nothing,
at
and then you
this
say we
moment
can
in
do an
time-
ultrasound.
At this moment in time, that's it.
And why is it that I can't get health care through Heart of the Rockies?
You
And
said
is
ultrasound.
that because of the color of my skin or my race?
What color your skin?
I'm asking you a question because it seems kind of odd to me
No, you're
how if
changing
I
up the
had
subject.
two,
You're changing the subject.
hold on, I had two precancerous masses and all these surgeries, and I had to go all the way to Aurora for
What if they were-
treatment, but I live here hand over fist for over 5 years and I'm not entitled to the same health care. Then I ask you, what can you do for me? And you tell me nothing?
And what's the rest of
That
the
is
sentence?
rude.
And what was the rest of the sentence?
Nothing and doing an ultrasound are two different
And?
things. That's
Third thing? What's the
linguistically
third thing?
incorrect.
What was the third thing?
You tell me what the third thing is because
your
I
old
told you
records.
that I
Get
do
your
everything
old
by
records.
reading and writing.
Get your old
So then
records.
that's still an abuse of a disabled person by you not turning around and adhering to me when I say I have a disability,
Okay.
that I do everything by reading and writing, and then still you don't offer me a paper and a pen to write anything down, and then
What are you
you
gonna
keep
write down?
going back and forth with me.
What do you want to write down?
Whatever I have to say,
There's
it
a
does.
pen. There's a
That's
pen.
just rude,
There's
though,
a
to
pen.
do the whole thing like that.
There's a pen.
Right, I
You
see
can
the
flip that
pen,
paper over.
but
You
it's
can write.
just very rude the way you come in and you're like, well, you can't do anything for me.
Right.
You say nothing, and then you say, or you can do an ultrasound.
Or, not or, but and get the old records. Because we need to see what those precancerous things were.
Well,
They could be
Heart of the
fibroids.
Rockies had 5 years to get
I'm
records.
telling you, I don't have them. So we got to get those.
Well, somebody's
see.
negligent here.
But that doesn't matter. We're at this moment in time. You can't keep living the old stuff. You can't keep predicting stuff that haven't happened. We got to do this right.
Yeah, and
this minute.
I'm not
Right
going to
this
live
minute.
like this anymore in this pain. So if Dr. Herfter can't get it right, then somebody else needs to take over. Like maybe you
And
could
he
take
said
over.
that he's sending you to somebody else, right?
What is that somebody else going to do?
That I don't know because I don't know who it is. I don't know if it's pain management. I don't know who it is.
It's frustrating
Do you
because
know
I
who it
have
is?
to get
Do
up
you
in
know
the
who it is?
morning. I don't know who these people are. I
Oh,
don't
you
have
gotta
it on
find
my
out.
record,
Maybe you're
you
find
know.
out.
But it's frustrating for you as a doctor to go, oh yeah, you've been getting prescribed narcotics back since 2019 when that wasn't even the case,
Okay.
you know. And then I've been monitored. I don't do anything wrong, okay?
Okay.
And then obviously I probably have some depression from all this, you know. And then I come in for a visit and I get treated like this. You
No,
can't
you
do
got
nothing,
somebody-
or
you got
you can
somebody
do
who's
anything.
straight-
This
you
is
got
mental
somebody
abuse.
You got somebody who's a straight shooter who's not going to jack you around. It sounds like you can
A
jack
straight
around.
shooter is not I'm not going to do nothing. You can't do
Okay.
nothing
So
and
it
then
sounds
say
like we aren't gonna see
ultrasound.
eye to eye. which means I'm not the best person for you. So if we don't see eye to eye, why would you want to work with me?
I didn't
You
do
wouldn't want
anything to you. You came in with the negative attitude, not me. It
Okay.
seems like Heart of the Rockies may have a problem, unless you have another doctor that I could see.
No.
But you don't say nothing,
Okay.
and then offer me an ultrasound. I mean, if we don't get along, then I could see a different doctor here.
And that would be their choice, though. We'd have to ask and make sure they want to take on your case. They may not. Most of us here don't do pain management. I'll just be honest with you. Most
I
of us
didn't
don't.
say I need pain management. I need a regular medical doctor that I deserve. I live in this community.
Okay, and I can do the medical care, which would be like, I have a sore throat or I have other things going on. But if you needed something for this chronic issue, that's where you need.
I have chronic issues that I need a medical doctor because I have dysarthria, dystonia, and a cognitive brain injury,
Okay?
probably where I need to see a neuropsychologist as well. A lot of this stuff is very hurtful to happen and go through for somebody, and then just to treat somebody with no compassion at all within your words.
So back in November, I'm just looking at, they did do an ultrasound at that point in time. And it looks like you either had a fibroid. This is from, I think UC Health. This UC Health.
See, you guys are on
So
the
this-
Epic system, so you
this-
should
no,
be
we're
able to
not on
see
Epic.
everything.
We
You're
are
not?
on Epic. No. So UC Health did do an ultrasound, and they found what looked to be a fibroid.
What are
Which
you
is,
talking about? What record are you looking for?
The UC Health record. Where they
From
did
what
the
date?
ultrasound in November.
We're now in July.
I'm going back to that.
Oh, okay.
And so they did find something that looked like an ultrasound or a fibroid. Those happen, and they can be annoying, but they're not cancerous. And what they recommended though is, we better make sure it's not something else. So that's why they wanted to take another look. That was back in November. So I think there may have been a misunderstanding because they did find what they thought was a polyp, a fibroid, but they weren't positive. And so anytime you have a question, they go back and look, and that's what they were doing.
Yeah, they removed the precancerous mass.
And that's where I don't know. I don't see there.
So you guys don't do biopsy either?
No, that's Dr. Rhodes does that. You've seen
That's
her
why they
before.
have special.
So do we see if I can get back in with her again?
She doesn't want to see you again. So that's not an option, unfortunately.
And why doesn't she want to see me?
I don't know. Did you have an altercation like we are? Maybe?
No, do you
That
think
she
we're
just felt
having an
like-
altercation? Why?
Because you're challenging and you're accusing me of racism and you're accusing me of things. And I'm like, what?
I'm not accusing you. I said why. I didn't accuse you. I
So-
said why is it
But
that
I
other
interpreted-
people...
Listen to what I'm saying. I interpret it as such. So that's where we have to watch.
Well,
our
when you
words.
interpret something, but that wasn't what I said. What I said was...
Guess what? You're doing the same thing with me. I say something, you're interpreting it a different way. But then you're
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I made a statement, but I said why since October when the mass was
Should we
found...
do an exam today or not? When I say by that, I mean we do a pelvic exam. I would check you over, make sure everything's absolutely okay. And then we go from there.
Where is this other test that you were gonna do?
The ultrasound?
Yeah, is
I don't
that
know if
here?
we need to do it because, no, it's not here. It's in Salina.
HR.
I don't know we need to do it because they did one back in November. You already had one. And it sounds like, I don't know, did anybody else?
CAT scan?
No, ultrasound. Did Alabama do one? Did Alabama do an ultrasound?
Alabama was where I got raped. That was in 2012.
You said you were seeing somebody in Alabama.
I didn't
this last.
No,
You were seeing your mom or somebody.
Did Grady do an ultrasound?
they did it was a drink that I drunk some drink, and then they put me in the machine and they could see everything. That's where they saw
Might have CAT scan. So if you
the
had all that,
mass.
there's no reason to do that again until we get those results.
Okay. How long does that take?
It depends on the hospital.
When you fill those out, I'll take them up front, they'll scan them in and send them over, and then as soon as they send us paperwork, we'll have them.
So it's not our option, we send it, but it's their option of how fast they get it to us.
You can also call them and tell them you need your medical
And you
records.
can't treat dysarthria and dystonia.
No.
You don't treat those conditions here. Who treats those?
Well, I mean, internal medicine, which would be Dr. Schroeder or Dr. Knar,
Hmm.
they're internal medicine, they're in Salida.
So here at this office, you can't medically treat, but I was treated
No.
by First Street Family Health by a regular medical doctor
And that didn't
for
work out.
5
That
years.
didn't work out so great either.
What do you mean it didn't work out great?
Well, you're not there now, but it might be an option to go back there if they did well.
I don't see how people are doing well when they have 5 years to get records they don't get.
What I'm saying is, if you did okay with them, then, and they treated you okay, you felt good with them.
If I was laying on the ground in the front when COVID hit,
you're saying
they
that
didn't treat me
relationship
good.
didn't
It
work out. Okay,
ended
that
during
relationship didn't work
COVID
out.
when
Okay.
I got
Now, I've
COVID.
been in here for what, 45 minutes? I've got 2 other patients waiting.
Okay.
So you need to decide, are we gonna do an exam or not? If not, then we just need to get those records. And the other option is we can bring you back, see where the records show us, see where it points us.
Yeah, and see if I can get in with a regular. I need to see a medical doctor. I have a brain injury
Okay.
and problems.
Psychiatry
Obviously,
usually does those. Psychiatry usually does those. But I see you've seen Ronnie Schaefer too. Ronnie Schaefer's in Salida.
so what about that too? It's this attitude that I get of not welcoming somebody.
Unfortunately, she won't see you anymore either. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, it goes by, you know what it goes by? Incompetency of doctors that have had over 5 years to get records. And then I deserve fair medical care. I live in this community.
What part?
And then you state that you can't take care of dysarthria and dystonia. And then you state that, oh, because I got raped in 2012, maybe I need some psychiatry care. It's called maybe a lot of you with your attitude that you don't want to help, because she seems pretty receptive to trying to help me. But you have some type of,
Are you the problem?
I'm just trying to get care. I don't see where I'm the problem if I'm asking for help. And then you keep coming back on me, well, this person, and I wonder why this person, and I wonder why this person dropped care.
I'm not.
No, you're asking me.
No, I'm not actually. I made the statement and you're saying, well, why? I don't know why.
Well, then when I came in here, you were like, are you recording me on my computer? And then you came through and you didn't even want to look at the notes. I mean, you haven't really had a good bedside manner.
Did I look at the notes?
After I begged you to look
You
at the
didn't beg me,
notes,
chose
I
to.
asked you a couple of times, but
You
the
didn't
first
beg
time
me.
you didn't want to.
So I don't have the energy, quite honestly. We spent an hour in here. I don't have the energy to keep going over old stuff. I want to start over. I want to get stuff, and I keep getting a battle here. If you want to try to see
Well,
what
it's a
my
battle if you're a doctor and then you come in
I'm
to
actually
treat
not.
me and I
I'm a nurse
ask you,
practitioner. So why don't I go ahead and
well,
you
if
wanna
I
choose
ask
to,
you,
if you want to choose to see one of my
Miss
colleagues,
Omen, if I ask you what can you do for me and you tell me nothing, and then in the same sentence you tell me that you can do an ultrasound or something
and
like
now
that,
that I've looked at the records, that even isn't logical. to
then
look at the
you
records.
know, it's just very rude how you talk to me.
Right,
You're just
so I'm
saying you
not a good
can't
person
do
for you.
nothing.
And I'm not a good person.
That's not how a doctor operates.
Right. So I'm not a good person.
Yeah,
That's fair.
maybe we should see that I'll see a different doctor here,
Okay, you can-
because
you can
that's
pick out
kind of
somebody.
rude that you would say that to me, that
Yeah, so we're
there's
not gonna do
nothing
it.
you can do.
And I apologize for that, but that means no, we don't jive. So I'm not a good match for you. And that's okay. That happens. That's okay. And that's respectful on both sides. It's like, no, your personality and mine don't match. This is kind of what you're saying, and I'm saying, well, you're probably right. So
It's not a personality,
let's
it's
go ahead
about
and,
your words being linguistically correct, that you state that you can't do anything for me. The bottom line is that I'm disabled.
So
I
you
told
wanna-
you I
how
do
do you wanna
everything
go
by
from
reading and
here?
writing. You did not respect my disability,
how do you
and
wanna
then
go
you
from
told
here?
me you couldn't do anything to
So
help
we
me.
aren't going to have a relationship. We've established that. So should I
And
go
then
ahead-
you kept
shall I go
badgering me
ahead-
about every other doctor that's not
So shall we
involved
go
in the
ahead and
treatment.
You're gonna choose somebody else? Is that how you want to end? Or, I mean, you can go back out and just kind of say, I need to see somebody else. That's your option. And if you want to go ahead and do that, that's